All right, what's up, everybody? It is a nice little Friday evening here. This is the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. This is a special little thing that I'm doing now. Just thought that why not? I'm not doing anything this time of night, so we're gonna do a little cocktails with Carter at night, a couple days a week, and at least on Fridays. But so got myself a nice little bourbon here. This is an Evan Williams bottled in bond, which is one of my go-tos if you're a bourbon fan. This is a nice daily pour you can have. But it's a great little freaky Friday. Had a great night tonight. I got to tell everybody, I made some smash burgers on the Blackstones tonight. Have my kids; they're upstairs sleeping. So if I abruptly leave, it's because one of my kids woke up. But made some smash burgers on the grill. It's been a great Friday. Getting ready. I think there's supposed to be some storms coming through. My middle daughter Avery was supposed to have her first soccer game of the spring tomorrow, but that already got canceled ahead of the storms. So if you're in the Columbus area, stay safe. Hopefully everything's good. But a lot to talk about, a lot going on in the world of sports right now. And so if you've watched this show before, you know how it goes. The first thing I do is I go through the social media stuff, right? So when I'm putting together a show, I'm looking for what's going on in social media. What are people talking about? What are people looking at? And so I do that, and then we'll go through. I got a special segment for everybody tonight that I'm putting together, and I might bring it to the main show eventually. But I have a segment called "One's Gotta Go." I don't know if you're anything like me, man. Me and my buddies, we have a group text, and I swear to God, at least once a week, somebody sends like a picture of like four people or four things, and it's like one's got to go, right? Like you got to pick one to get rid of. What is it? And so I'm going to bring that segment to Cocktails with Carter. We'll see how it goes. If everybody likes it, we'll keep it going on the main show. Also, get in the YouTube chat if you're out there, if you're listening. Get in the YouTube chat, hit me up, comments, questions, whatever you got. I'll go as long. I mean, like I said, my kids are asleep. I got nothing to do, so I'll be here as long as everybody is interacting and keeping it active. So get into the YouTube chat and interact with me, and we'll get it going tonight. Otherwise, I'll go through what I have written down and what I've made. But started off here. I know we talked about it a couple times about Chris Beard potentially going to Texas A&M, and then I think it was last night's show we talked about the fact that he signed an extension with Ole Miss and he was not going to be going. But it looks like A&M found their guy anyways. They have Bucky McMillan from Samford. Hired him today. And I don't know how to feel about this hire if I'm a Texas A&M fan. I mean, I know Samford's had some success with him, and he's he's done some good things. But Texas A&M, I thought they were going to swing big and go big on it, and it just doesn't. He's been the head coach at Samford since 2020. Made the NCAA tournament once. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was going to be a bigger hire than this. I thought Chris Beard made a lot of sense. Obviously, they couldn't pull him from Ole Miss, otherwise they would have. But he has a good background. He was obviously the head coach of Samford. He's been former coach at Brigham Southern, Duane, and a couple other places. But all in all, I mean, he's never won an NCAA tournament game. He's owned one in the NCAA. He's owned one in the NIT. He was at Mountain Brook High School from 2008 to 20. I mean, if you're Texas A&M, this is all you could get. And I'm not trying to shit on the guy. Maybe he's a great coach, but his head coach resume is he played at Birmingham Southern from 02 to 06. Then he was an assistant at Mountain Brook High School from 06 to 08. And then he took over the head coaching job at Mountain Brook High School from 2008 to 2020. So long career there. Got the Samford job in 2020. I mean, he did a good job there. Made one NCAA tournament, which is good for that school. And now he's the Texas A&M head coach. To me, it seems like there's got to be somebody more qualified. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's your new. Hold on one second. Sorry, trying to get this all figured out here. My mic just went out and my camera just shit the bed. Of course, this would happen when I'm solo, right? Can't happen when I got some help here. But all right, let's just take that away. All right, fine. We'll roll with that camera. Hopefully, you guys can see me. You got the webcam's not working, but let me know if you can't see me or if you can't hear me. I'll figure it out from there. But yeah, Dave said, "Can you go 8-5 in basketball?" Yeah, that seems like that's what this hire is. Like this is like maybe we'll be mediocre hire. I don't know how you. I don't know how you go from Chris Beard is taking the Texas A&M job. Chris Beard, one of the biggest names in college coaching, the hottest name. I mean, of all the names, that's the hottest name right now. And then you end up with this guy? And I'm not like, I don't know this guy from Adam, right? Like, I don't know this guy at all. He could be a great coach. I'm just saying, dude coached high school high school basketball for 12 years, got the Samford job, and didn't do shit other than make one NCAA tournament, which I agree is an accomplishment at Samford. And then he gets the Texas A&M job? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but luckily I don't give two shits about Texas A&M basketball, so whatever. It's all good on that front. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is at that point. It's he did his job. But while you're out there, everybody listening, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Come on out here on YouTube, hit the chat. We got Dave's here. Dave, I appreciate you, buddy. Always in the chat, always active. Dave watches more college athletic YouTube like shows than anybody I know. Every time I go into a show, whether it's a show I watch religiously or not, Dave's always here. And I appreciate you for that. But in other news, get into some NFL stuff. Julio Jones, who I think, and we'll have a conversation about it for anybody out there. He officially retired today. I didn't realize he wasn't retired. I got to be honest with you. I mean, does anybody out there, anybody listening, did you know that Julio Jones didn't retire already? I didn't know that. He apparently he decided today to officially retire, which the reason you do that in the NFL is because if you officially retire in the NFL, there's a lot of yellow tape or whatever you want to call it to come back. And so you don't officially retire in case you want to sign with the team. He officially retires today, which means he's definitely not coming back. Last time he played was, I think, 2023 for the Philadelphia Eagles. He had 11 catches for 74 yards that season. So he's been basically retired for about 3 years at this point. But he officially retires today. And it brought up a good question. Sorry, I'm feeling a little parched. And this isn't the one's got to go segment, but where would you place him? Where would you place Julio Jones on your list of Hall of Fame or potential Hall of Fame wide receivers? Because I think he is all time. I put him top 10. I think that's probably the ceiling for him is top 10 all time. I think athletically, gifted wise, I think he's right up there with Megatron. Megatron is number one for me, by the way. Calvin Johnson is the best wide receiver to ever play football, bar none, not even close. Miss me with the Jerry Rice stuff. Miss me with all that stuff. Like, Jerry Rice is great. I get it. But Calvin Johnson is the best receiver to ever play football. That's not up for debate, in my opinion. I think Julio athletically, Randy Moss is close. You're right, Dave. I think Randy Moss is in the conversation. I'd have Randy Moss probably two, honestly. Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss. You could put 1A, 1B, however you want to do it. I think Julio athletically is right there with those two. Like that, Julio was such a freak, and I'll never forget when the Browns traded the pick to the Falcons to take Julio Jones. And I get it. The Browns had no business taking Julio Jones at that point in their rebuild. It would have been awful for him. But the Falcons didn't either. And he was, I mean, I watched him at Alabama. A lot of people compared him to AJ Green, I think just because of age, and they came out around the same time, and they both were SEC wide receivers. AJ Green couldn't hold Julio Jones's jockstrap, let me tell you. And I love AJ Green, great receiver. But Julio Jones is up there as far as athleticism, just pure talent with Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss. I'm trying to think of who else, because Jerry Rice is up there as one of the greatest of all times, but that's not from an athleticism perspective or a talent perspective. He was just a hard worker that played a long time. He's the, if you guys want to say Michael Jordan is the greatest, right, then Jerry Rice is the LeBron James of wide receivers. He just played the position the longest. But yeah, I think Julio was up there, and I wish he would have had a little better situation than he did in Atlanta. He had a great career, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think ultimately I thought he retired years ago. So it popped up on my feed, said, "Oh, Julio Jones retires," and I was like, "Wait, he's not retired already? That's shocking." But yeah, he was great Dave. He was great at Alabama. I mean, great. Like, you watch that kid's tape from Alabama. I don't know if there's a college receiver since then or before then that had tape like that. He was, bar none, one of the most technical wide receivers that was one of the most gifted ever. And I mean, I'm telling you, he set the bar for me for wide receivers. Like that was the bar. Calvin Johnson in the NFL set the bar. In college, Julio Jones was the bar for me. Like every time somebody came out and it was like, "Oh, this guy's the best thing ever," or whatever. Like even Jeremiah Smith, who I think is one of the best recruits ever to come out of high school football. Even Jeremiah Smith, I compare him to Julio Jones because Julio Jones was that good. Yeah, exactly. J.J. Smith would come more years. Yeah. And, I mean, Julio was just that guy. Now, Calvin at Georgia Tech didn't have the accolades coming out of high school. He didn't have the offense in college. But here, funny, just sidebar, and then we'll get back to it. Everybody likes to talk about Calvin Johnson going to Georgia Tech like Georgia Tech was a triple option team when he was there. Y'all forget. When Calvin Johnson was at Georgia Tech, they were a spread football team. This was pre-Paul Johnson. Like, they didn't move to the triple option yet. Because everybody's like, "Oh, why would he go there? They don't even throw the ball." No, they were a passing team back then. And they just had really bad athletes all around. But, like, that's one of my favorite arguments people get into is, like, why would Calvin Johnson go to Georgia Tech? I don't know, because they ran the spread offense and he could get targeted 14 times a game. I mean, it made sense. Now, my dude Chinedum Ndukwe laid his ass out when Notre Dame played Georgia Tech. Look it up, Chinedum Ndukwe on Calvin Johnson. One of the greatest hits you'll ever see in college football. Shout out Nadu, my guy, straight out of Dublin Kaufman High School. It's not quite as good as Major Wright's hit against Oklahoma. Again, if you don't know it, go Google it. Major Wright versus Oklahoma. dude just fucking. And if you watch Swamp Kings, you heard him talk about it, where Major Wright, and I love Major Wright so much, but Major Wright said it. He goes, dude, I could have intercepted that ball. I was headhunting. He goes, I wanted to set a tone that they knew that every single play, I'm coming at them. And I love that mentality. Speaking of dudes that are coming, pause, I guess, Jesus. But Alexander Ovechkin officially tied Wayne Gretzky's record for most goals in a career. I don't know if you guys are much into the hockey sphere, but this is a big deal. This is like, I mean, this is, I would put this up there as big of a deal, if not bigger deal, than LeBron breaking the points record. I think when you look at what Wayne Gretzky accomplished over his career, and his single season records will probably never be touched, but his career records were also thought that they would never be touched. And Ovechkin has been, and I hate Ovechkin. I hate Ovechkin because of how good he is. But I didn't think there was anybody, because it was Ovechkin, Crosby, Malkin. Those were the guys that everybody talked about for a long time. And I thought, yeah, they'll be good for a couple years. But the fact that he tied, and he's going to break Gretzky's record. He has enough games, and he's not going to even probably retire after this year. So he needs one more goal to break the record. He's going to do that Sunday night probably. And if he doesn't, they actually, fun fact, the Washington Capitals, they play a game Sunday the 10th, I believe it is, and then they turn around, they play a game in Columbus, Ohio, April 12th. So there is a slight chance that Alexander Ovechkin could break the record for most career goals in Columbus, Ohio on Tuesday. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm sure he's going to get a goal on Sunday. Probably that I'd have to look it up, but I would assume the NHL wants him to break the record either in Washington and home, or in New York where Gretzky played, or Edmonton or LA. I doubt I know for a fact the NHL doesn't want him to break the record in Columbus, Ohio. That's for sure. But I mean, I think it's 864 goals, I believe, is Gretzky's record, and accomplishing that is just absurd. Ovechkin is arguably one of the best scorers of all time. Can't really say anything against him other than the fact that it hasn't resulted in cups. He's got the one cup that he won, which is good. But ultimately you'd like to have more. But I just thought that was cool. I love history. I'm a big history buff, and I love when things like this happen. Like Gretzky is called the Great One, right? Like his nickname's the Great One. He's the greatest of all time in any sport, according to hockey fans. And the fact that his record is even being challenged, and it's going to be broken. I mean, there's absolutely no chance Ovechkin doesn't break the record, unless he literally just like falls off a cliff tomorrow and dies. But yeah, and so the fact that that's happening is insane. Love to see it. I think Ovechkin's overall probably a pretty good dude, so I'm not too upset about it. But let's go ahead, and before we get into some of the main topics of the show here, I want to go ahead and reset the show real quick. We got a handful of you in here tonight, talking college football, talking sports in general. And again, this is a new thing that I'm doing, so I appreciate everybody. I know it's almost 11:30 p.m. Everybody's trying to wind down for the night and whatnot, but if you're just sitting there like, man, you know what? I'd like to listen to a little sports talk. I'd like to interact, maybe have a little bourbon or a little something else. Come on out to Carter's Corner. Come on out to Cocktails with Carter and get in the chat, interact with me. Dave's here. We got Duke in here. We got all kinds of people listening. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We go live every day, Monday through Thursday right now during the off season, Monday through Thursday at 7:30. Friday nights are probably going to be this. It's probably going to be my little late night soapbox thing where I can get up here and just spew some shit and everybody can listen, or they can just tune the fuck out. I don't care. But make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. That helps us out a lot. We are really trying to blow this up. I think anybody out there that enjoys listening to the show, make sure you share it because it helps us a lot. We're trying to do a good job and we're trying to do the best we can. Dave's here. He's still 1,200 points behind Gretzky. That is absolutely insane. That's insane. And I knew he was. Nobody is ever going to touch the points record. Like he's gonna get the goals record, but like he's never been an assist guy anyways. But Gretzky, I mean, look up his single season records. Like he'd go for 100 goals and 200 assists or some shit. Like Gretzky was ridiculous. And I didn't watch hockey back then. I wasn't alive for most of it. But yeah, Gretzky is going to be obviously the greatest of all time, as opposed to Michael Jordan, who holds no records anymore. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But let's get a word from our partner real quick, and then we'll get back to the show here in a minute. I appreciate everybody tuning in. What's up, guys? If you have been watching the show for a while, you know if you're like me that you love a good nicotine pouch. So that's why we're super excited to offer our first ever promotion here on the show. ALP pouches, ALP pouches, the new standard in nicotine pouches. A better time with ALP pouches. A better time isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. We love nicotine pouches and we're here to share that love. Better products, better experiences, and a genuine commitment to a better world. That's why a portion of every sale goes to real causes, not political players. Simple, honest, and yes, better. Best part about ALP pouches is you get more pouches in every tin. That's right, you get 20 pouches per tin as opposed to the regular 15. Also, tins come in 3 different strengths from 3, 6, and 9 milligrams, so you can pick your strength. And amazing flavors. All the pouches come with enhanced moisture, so no more dry pouches chafing your lips or giving you cuts and scratches on your inner lips. They come in all sorts of great flavors, all your typical flavors, or try my favorite, the refreshing chill or the tropical fruit in the 9 milligram. ALP isn't just better, ALP is the new standard. Created by real users, not suits in a boardroom, we've made the product they never could. So go over to alppouch.com/Duke Show. That's ALPPOUCH.com/Duke Show to get 10% off your first purchase of America's newest nicotine pouch standard. All right, go out and get you some ALP pouches. They are absolutely phenomenal. I have been avid user of the nicotine pouch for the past few years. I've used Zen, I've used Lucy, you name them. These right here, these ALP pouches. This is the tropical citrus and the 9 milligram. They're the best ones out there. But there was some breaking news or some really controversial news, and I gotta be very honest with everybody. I am not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I don't think it's really something that I need to comment on or that needs to be talked about until more facts come out. However, it was pretty big news out of Columbus, Ohio. And Caleb Downs is at the center of it. And so there has been a war essentially waged in Columbus, Ohio. And there's been 2 beat reporters that have been fired from their post on the beat at Ohio State. They are long-standing beat reporters that I know people that know, and I've had experiences with, and they got fired today. And Ohio State Twitter is melting down about it. And I just want to talk about the alleged allegations and what happened, and then I want to move on because I don't want to spend too much time on it. But the fact that it's Caleb Downs is kind of an interesting little tidbit because Caleb Downs is arguably the best player in college football. I would say he might be. He's got more of a resume than just about everybody else. However, the rumor is, and I will not say names because I don't care about these people at all. Two beat reporters that have been fired from their post as beat reporters allegedly had some business deals that went on. And yes, yeah, I know, Dave. It's been refuted. I'm not saying it's happened. There are outlets out there saying it didn't happen. I'm waiting for the facts to come out to say if it did. I'm just saying, allegedly, this is something that happened. I don't believe it, if I'm being honest with you, because I do know a decent about the one reporter, and I doubt he would have anything to do with anything like this. But the rumor is that the reporters were in a business deal with Caleb Downs, and allegedly the money came in and the money didn't go out. So they kept the money. If it happened or not, I have no idea. But I do know this for a fact, and I just, something happened. You don't fire people for nothing. You don't fire people. Well, I guess sometimes you do, but there's something that went on that was in poor taste. It doesn't. I don't believe any of the money things, and I highly doubt Caleb Downs was involved in it at all or anything like that. But if you're Caleb Downs, this isn't a good look for you in general, and you're probably pretty upset right now. Now, he's not going to transfer or anything like that. There's nothing to worry about. But as Ohio State, you've got, I mean, here's what I think is going to be interesting. Whatever happened between the parties at, of course, Dave, of course you transferred to Ann Arbor. That would solve all the problems, right? But if you're a party in this, right? Let's say you're a beat reporter and you've been accused of stealing, let's say, $20,000 from a player at Ohio State. First of all, if you're stupid enough to do that, you deserve whatever happens to you. Why would you, like, stealing $20,000 is a problem in itself. Stealing it from a player, huh? That's why I don't think it's real. Is there nobody in their right mind? Nobody is stupid enough to do what they're accused of doing. There's no way. There's absolutely no way anybody is stupid enough to do that. Because how did you think it was going to go if you did? Like, you can steal $20,000 from Joe up the street. Maybe you get away with it. Maybe you get caught and go to jail, or get caught and get probation or whatever. So, Dave, the 5K, at least this is just what I've heard. It was a $25,000 deal. They paid $5K to Caleb. The other 20 went missing. That's just what I've heard. So maybe that's where you're getting confused in the 20 and the 5, because the entire time all I've heard is it was a $25,000 deal. Which, first of all, a $25,000 deal for Caleb Downs is fucking nothing. And that's why I don't even if it's true, Caleb Downs isn't going anywhere. He's got plenty of other deals that are paying him, and he's going to chalk that $20,000 up to being stupid. Like, that's nothing for him. But yeah, from what I heard, it was a $25,000 deal. They paid $5,000 to Caleb Downs, and the other $20,000 never got paid out like it was supposed to. That's what I've heard. Again, I want to preface this by saying this is all alleged, and I don't believe it's true, because I do believe at least one of the parties involved is an ethical person that I believe wouldn't have done this. So I want to make sure that's very clear. If it did happen and you're Caleb Downs, you don't gain anything by making a big stink about it. You already lost the $20,000. And like I said, $20,000 for Caleb. The dude's making over $1 million a year, I believe. $20,000? Like, yeah, like, that's $20,000. I want it. It's mine. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna fucking shoot the horse because he's got a lame foot. Like, all right, I lost 20K. I'll make it up. It's no big deal. But ultimately, it's a bad look for Ohio State and the NIL. And that's what somebody, and that's why I think this has to come out. Like, I don't think this goes away. A lot of these stories that come out, they're going to go away because there's no benefit to them coming out. But with this one specifically, because of the rumors, I think the truth has to come out. Otherwise, Ohio State's going to be looking at dealing with some NIL questions that they don't want to have to deal with. So I think we will get the truth out of this, and I do believe that this is all false. I don't think for 1 second that these guys ripped off Caleb Downs for $20,000 or even $5,000 or whatever it was. I just can't imagine as a beat reporter that you would do that, because like there's no way you get away with it. First of all, second of all, there's no way that you would risk your entire career on that. Like $20,000, I get it. It's a chunk of change. $20,000 is not a lot of money. Like that. If somebody handed me $20,000 tomorrow, I could spend it in 2 seconds. Like that shit could be gone like that. It wouldn't even take me an hour before I got rid of it if I needed to. So I can't imagine getting $20,000 and being like, yeah, I'm going to keep this. But, you know, who knows? It is what it is. So Dave brings up a good question, and this is, why would a beat reporter have access to money? That's where things get interesting. With the NIL and how things are, there are beat reporters, specifically the ones I'm talking about, who have a podcast, right? And it's not a Dispatch, Columbus Dispatch. It's not like a actual editorial podcast. It's a podcast for a media outlet that they created because they had access. And so my understanding is they brokered a deal between a company that they had a relationship with that was a sponsor of their podcast and Caleb Downs to promote the product, because they have access to both, right? They have access to the company, they have access to the athlete. And so they brokered a deal that was going to pay Caleb Downs $25,000. Caleb Downs allegedly received $5,000. The company paid all $25,000. The other $20,000 is in question. Where did it go? We don't know. And so that's where you get into sticky situations as to why beat reporters, and there's no rules. There's no rules about any of this. Beat reporters can pay athletes directly to have them be guests on their podcast. They do it all the time. If you want to have a top ranking podcast covering Notre Dame football or Ohio State football, Michigan football, whatever it is, if you have the money, you can pay an athlete directly and say, hey, I want you to come on and have a weekly spot on my podcast. Why? That gives my podcast more validity. That gives you more exposure. It's a win-win. But there's no rules against it. So now these beat reporters that used to just have the responsibility of reporting on the team have a financial interest in these players. And is it right? Is it wrong? Who knows? That's not for me to discuss. And that's the world of NIL that we live in. But that's why he was involved in the money with the player, is they had a relationship. He had an opportunity to help the player earn an extra, $25,000 or whatever it was. And here we are. And the thing is, the truth about this, I think, comes out. And I hope it does. I hope it does for the sake of the two involved, because at least one of them I know is a good guy. I know he's a great person. I believe in him firmly that he would never do this. The other one, I don't know anything about him. I know his name. That's about it. That's all I'll say on that. And maybe he's a shitbag. Maybe he's not. I don't know. And it could be a situation where there's two guys that are working closely together on everything they do, because that's true. And one of them was involved in the deal, but not really. And the deal went south. And the other one took the money. And now that one's just guilty by association. Again, this is all alleged. I'm not saying anything. I don't know anything about it outside of what everybody else has seen. So please don't take this as gospel. I just wanted to address it because it is a prominent topic right now. But if it's in fact true, this is a really bad slippery slope that you're getting into. And we've talked about it on this show. Everybody's talked about it, about this wild, wild west that we are in with NIL. And this is just another example of it. And my thing is, these are the two of the most prominent beat reporters on the Ohio State beat that are on one of the biggest platforms on the Ohio State beat. And their boss texts all the subscribers and said they've been fired for cause. You don't say that unless you have evidence supporting your reasoning for firing, because you could get in a lot of trouble by putting that out there publicly if you can't support it, if you can't prove it. So I'm not saying anybody did anything. I'm just saying the fact that it was put out there that they were fired for cause is huge. Trust me, I've owned businesses. I've dealt with employees. You don't fire employees in the state of Ohio without cause. Ohio is a free will or an at-will state. But boy, oh boy, if you fire them with no cause, you're going to deal with a lot of legal issues. So I don't know what happened. I do think it will come out. I do think it will be brought to light, but I don't know. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time to be a beat reporter, and it's a crazy time to be in Columbus, Ohio right now. But let's go ahead and I'll reset the show one more time, and then we'll get into my segment I want to start out, which is One's Gotta Go. And if you're out there watching on Twitter, get on over here in the YouTube chat. That way you can give me your opinion, because I got some good ones for One's Gotta Go. We're going to give you 4 things. It could be players, it could be teams, whatever it is. And you got to pick one that's got to go, right? And the other 3 are by default the better teams or the better players or whatever it is. But before we get there, hit that like and subscribe button. Join us every day. We're here 7:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. We're going to continue in this. Hold on one second. Continue on with this Cocktails with Carter late night, at least Friday nights, maybe a couple times a week. We'll see. But let's get one more word from our partner while I figure out why my computer's about to die. In the show for a while, you know, if you're like me, that you love a good nicotine pouch. So that's why we're super excited to offer our first ever promotion here on the show. ALP is the new standard in nicotine pouches. A better time out. Love nicotine, better products, better experiences, and a genuine commitment to a better world. That's why a portion of every sale goes to real causes, not political players. Simple, honest, and yes, better. Best part about Out Pouches is you get more pouches in every tin. That's right, you get 20 pouches per tin as opposed to the regular 15. Also, tins come in 3 different strengths from 3, 6, and 9 milligrams, so you can pick your strength, and amazing flavors. All the pouches come with enhanced moisture, so no more dry pouches chafing your lips or giving you cuts and scratches on your inner lips. They come in all sorts of great flavors, all your typical flavors, or try my favorite, the refreshing chill or the tropical fruit in the 9 milligram. ALP isn't just better, ALP is the new standard. Created by real users, not suits in a boardroom, we've made the product they never could.
So go over to alppouch.com/Duke Show. That's ALPPOUCH.com/Duke Show to get 10% off your first purchase of America's newest nicotine pouch standard.
All right, welcome back. I got it figured out, I think, although it did get a little darker in here, I think. Anyways, hopefully you guys can see me. I don't know what's going on tonight. All my shit is just going haywire right now. But that leads me to go to outpouch.com, first of all. Get some pouches. Nicotine pouches. If you dip, stop dipping. That shit's terrible for your gums. Stop it. It's terrible. I did it for years. It's awful. Get some nicotine pouches. Alp's the best. But that brings me into my segment. I'm excited for this. And as we do this more, I'm excited for the interactions. And I really hope everybody has had a lot of fun with this. But I got a segment. I'm calling it "One's Gotta Go." So I'm gonna give you a couple things. And today it's gonna be 4 things, and one's gotta go. And I'm focusing today on from 2010 to 2020 college football. And the first thing I'm gonna do is the best teams in that decade. And you got to tell me one's gotta go. So let me put it up here first, and I'll give you my thoughts. And you can tell me, who do you think is the one that's got to go? So the best teams of the decade. And I did some research, and these are the 4 teams I came up with. You got the 2019 LSU Tigers, 2013 Florida State Seminoles, 2014 Ohio State Buckeyes, and then the 2015 Crimson Tide from Alabama. Now, obviously, the 19 LSU Tigers have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Undefeated season, arguably the best offense to ever grace us with their presence on a college football field. 2013 Seminoles, Jameis Winston Heisman, dominant season, national championship, beat Auburn in a thriller. I mean, that was an epic season. Then you got the 2014 Buckeyes. You got third-string quarterback Cardale Jones leading them to a natty. They beat Bama in the heart of the South and Oregon with Heisman winner Marcus Mariota to start off the playoff era. And then you got the 2015 Crimson Tide with Derrick Henry, won his Heisman. Bama dominated, won it all. One of them's got to go. If you had to pick what team, what team does not belong amongst the others, I guess? Like, what's the one you got to go? And I know my answer, and I try really hard not to be biased, but 2019 LSU has to be in there. I think 2014 Ohio State has to be in there. You can't write the history of college football without that team. I think it's between Bama and Florida State. Oh, I had my pick, and I want to change it so bad right now. I was so ready to get rid of 2013 Florida State. I was so ready. I think I'm going to stick with it. I think that's the team that I got to get rid of. Although 2015, man, that's tough. I mean, those are 4 epic teams, right? But I think if I got to get rid of one, I'm getting rid of Florida State. That's mine. I want to know. Jameis Winston, yeah, the crab leg king himself keeps them in it. I don't know. I think 2019 obviously has to stay. I know, Dave, you're a Michigan fan, so of course Ohio State is out. I don't know how you get rid of Ohio State. That team was so epic. I mean, third-string quarterback, beating Bama in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, I don't know how you get rid of that. Bama was good, don't get me wrong, but I think the best team in 2015 was Ohio State. 2013 Florida State, I think I'm getting rid of them. I think that's the one I'm getting rid of.
But everybody out there, if you're watching it and we're not live, put it in the comments. I'm going to come back and check which one you getting rid of. You got 2019 LSU, 2013 Florida State, 14 Ohio State, and 15 Bama. Those four teams in that decade are arguably the best four. Now, I have one more, and this one's really hard for me. I don't know my answer yet. But I got one more one's got to go before we get into the Notre Dame section of this, which I just want to make sure I say this. Like right now, Friday nights, I'm probably going to still talk Notre Dame because we don't have our normal show Friday nights. But as we do this show, this show is not a Notre Dame show. Like the Cocktails with Carter, that's going to be more of an interactive, get you involved show, just about sports in general and just having fun, man. Like when I do this, like I'm obviously a Notre Dame fan, so I'm here to talk Notre Dame for anybody that wants to. But I want to do a little bit more than that and just make it a little more fun. So first of all, cheers. But we got one more one's got to go. And this is for college football players from 2010 to 2020. I just picked that decade. We'll do all kinds of different things as I do this. But here's the graphic I came up with. I picked four players. All of them happen to be quarterbacks. I feel like that's going to happen a lot just because of the nature of the quarterback position. But one's got to go. You got to get rid of one of these guys. You got Joe Burrow, 2019. I mean, like I said in the other, the best offense of all time. I mean, just 60 touchdowns, national championship, absolute baller season. And then you got 2010 Cam Newton, who absolutely destroyed all of college football, was one of the best players of all time. And then you got Baker Mayfield, walk-on legend, 3-time Heisman finalist, won it. He's got all the swag with his, dropping his nuts on people, whatever it is. And then Deshaun Watson, who beat the 2016 Bama team, was a clutch performer. What one out of these do you get rid of? I'm really interested to see what the people think about this. I think, and I'll give you my opinion. This one's so hard for me. I'm going to go in backwards order. I'm going to tell you who I wouldn't get rid of because if I don't want to get rid of any of them, I really don't. Joe Burrow has to be there. Again, one of the most prolific performances, one of the most prolific seasons in the history of college football, has to be there. Won a Natty, Heisman. I mean, one of the best of all time in that season. Cam Newton, okay. Baker Mayfield has to be in the conversation. He is a college football juggernaut, just an absolute legend. And I'm trying really hard not for the NFL bias to impact me at all in this. Because obviously when you factor in their NFL careers and the fact that I'm a Browns fan, Deshaun Watson's got to go. That's the first one out. But in college, I'm between Deshaun and Baker. Cam Newton and Joe Burrow, can't get rid of them. You can't. Cam Newton was electric, was one of the best players of all time. Joe Burrow had the best season of all time. Baker Mayfield, Deshaun. I'm getting rid of Deshaun, and I tried really hard not to because I know it sounds like a homer take because I'm a Browns fan and fuck Deshaun Watson. But even in college, I think, and he was electric. He was unbelievable. That's a hard one for me, but I'm getting rid of Deshaun. I think Deshaun's got to go. Give me I would take each one of the other three over Deshaun Watson any day of the week in college or the NFL, honestly. And the funny thing is the Browns had Baker and Deshaun and chose Deshaun over Baker, and we saw how that worked. I digress. But that's just a fun little segment that I enjoy. If you guys don't enjoy it, fucking don't listen, I guess. I don't know. But I enjoy doing that, and I'm going to keep making those graphics so that we can continue to do that and maybe take it to the main show Monday through Thursday. We'll see. But what was did I miss something? Anyways, moving on here into the Notre Dame stratosphere. I told everybody at Monday that this was a huge week for recruiting for Notre Dame football. And it has been that. There's been news that came out. Obviously, they lost Simeon Caldwell to Ohio State. That was a big loss. However, after researching the facts, not a surprising loss. However, since then, the tides have shifted again. It looks like they're going to get that running back that's down to Michigan and Notre Dame. And Rodney Durham, who is a 5-star out of Myers Park High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's class 2026, 6'4", 227. Dude's a fucking monster. He is, I've heard this from a lot of people close to the program, not people close to recruiting, people not affiliated. Rodney Durham is going to announce in 6 days, April 10th, he's going to announce his commitment. And I am 90% sure that he is going to announce the Notre Dame Fighting Irish as his commitment. If you haven't heard it before, you heard it here first. Rodney Durham, 5-star, athletic linebacker or edge rusher out of North Carolina, is going to commit to Notre Dame on April 10th. Put it on your board. I think it's huge. Again, and I've talked about this. Defensive recruiting has never not been a problem for a decade for Notre Dame. They get recruits all the time, but they don't always get this level. This is a huge recruit. This is a game changer for the 2026 class. And if Notre Dame locks up the running back that I believe they are going to, who I'm not going to name names right now, I will wait until I know for sure. But if they lock up that running back and they lock up this 5-star out of North Carolina, this class is going to be one of the best classes in Notre Dame history since Charlie Weiss. And he's got offers from Georgia, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Tennessee, Michigan. I mean, you name it. He's got offers from them. And I believe it to be true. He just visited campus on April 2nd, I believe it was. And all the reports after that have been crystal balls for Notre Dame. Like I said, 90% confidence level. Notre Dame is going to lock up this kid on April 10th. He's going to announce it. It's going to be a Notre Dame lock. Now, like I said last year, April locks mean nothing. You still got to sign the kid in December. So there's a lot of time left, but this is a big get. And I the reason I want to make sure that people understand that is because I know how passionate the fan base is about recruiting and how much we've missed on certain big recruits in the past. This is a big get. If they get this is a KVA level get. If they get him, which I believe they will, he is the number, I think he's a top 10 recruit at his position. He's the number 7 in the state of North Carolina. Like, this kid is big. And I think they're going to get him. And as far as everything else from spring practice, we've already talked about it all. Micah Gilbert's hurt. Quarterbacks are pretty stagnant at this point. All of them are showing consistency. Nobody's separated themselves. Leonard Moore. Oh, this is one I got a text today about this. Leonard Moore has really stepped up his leadership level. We all knew Leonard Moore was a good corner, obviously. But from what I've heard, and I received a text today about the defensive side of the ball, and I was talking to him about it, and he said, Leonard Moore is him. I mean, he is him. Like Benjamin Morrison 2.0 him. And I was like, oh, okay. I always knew he was a good player, But just like I talked about Great House yesterday or 2 days ago about how Great House is a good player, but you need those good players to elevate themselves into a leadership role. From what I'm hearing, Leonard Moore, elevated. He is going to be one of the best corners in college football for the next 2 years wearing the Golden Dome. So there's a lot to be excited about. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. And the recruiting is going well. Yeah, we lost a couple guys, and that happens. We're going to land a couple more. The leadership is what I'm really excited. I didn't hear this last offseason. I didn't hear this coming out of Notre Dame. I didn't hear about this guy stepping up as a leader in the wide receiver room or this guy at DB. We already had leaders, right? We had Jack Kaiser. We had Benjamin Morrison. Riley Leonard took that role. We had those guys. This year, we don't have those guys. Those guys all are gone. And so it left a vacancy, and somebody has to step up. And the right people are stepping up from what I hear. The right people are stepping up into that leadership role. The people that you needed to step up in order to make this an excellent team, in order to push the recruiting in the right direction. Because it's all fine and dandy to have Steve Angeli be a leader. That's cool. But if you have a leader that's a wide receiver and he can go out there and he can put up plays, that's going to change recruiting for 5 years. So, a lot to be excited about, Notre Dame fans. If you're not a Notre Dame fan, we can talk about your fan base too. There's a lot going on all across college football, and I pay attention to all of it. But thank you so much. If you're out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, go over to Twitter. It's The Andre Duke Show on Twitter, at The Andre Duke Show. My @ is on the screen right there, at This The Carter 3. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. That's how you find me. Go ahead and give me a follow. I appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button. That's the most important thing. Just like, subscribe to the channel. We get so many return viewers. We get more return viewers than we get regular views. Yet none of y'all subscribe to the channel. So like, come on, what's up? You keep coming back to watch the show. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go. And we'll be back Monday, 7:30 p.m. Have a big show for you. We'll talk a lot about, because this is the biggest weekend in spring football, this weekend. I know everybody's excited for the spring game a week from this Saturday, but the real spring game is this Saturday. So we'll have a lot to talk about Monday. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Hopefully there will be no injuries to talk about or anything like that. But I appreciate everybody tuning in and joining me on this late night show. I'm going to try to do it more often. I don't see why not. I got nothing going on. I'm putting kids to bed. They're asleep. I'm not doing shit. Why not? Trojan in here, late night again. I like it. I love it, bro. Hey, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to do it every Friday just to make sure. But I'm going to try to do this a couple nights a week where I just get up and go solo for like an hour or so, probably 3 days a week or something like that. Give you guys a little late night content, because I don't really think there's anything else to watch. I mean, you could watch women's basketball like I am right now, go UConn. But outside of that, if you guys have anything else, please hit me up in my DMs if you want certain content or anything like that. Just reach out to me. I love interacting. I love the being able to talk with you. So that's why I do the show. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see everybody again on Monday. Have a good night, y'all.